Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in. In today's video, we're starting off back at the second-hand central heating installation, and we're going to be cleaning the system and adding some inhibitor. Okay, so Radiant have kindly sent us out this central heating cleaner and central heating protector. Now, Radiant isn't a brand I'm too familiar with, but from what I've discovered, they are based in Lithuania. They sell quite a lot of central heating products, and from all the research and reviews that I've gathered, it seems to be a good high-performing product. So you can see on the front of the bottle, it's claiming you can reduce your heating costs by up to 15%. Now, I don't necessarily believe that is individually, so I believe that's these two combined. So they're claiming if you run your cleaner through your system, add your central heating inhibitor, you could potentially save up to 15% on your heating costs. Now, sludge and debris, iron oxide in your system is the main reason why central heating systems fail or they reduce in their efficiency. So this is something that we would do on every central heating installation. We'll run the cleaner through it and also add your central heating protector. So this is mandatory now for most central heating installations, and if you want longevity with your central heating system, you at least want to put in the central heating inhibitor. So I'll just go through what it kind of says on the bottle here. So it's saying it will restore heat transfer efficiency, remove scale, sludge and debris, and re-establish systems performance. So this job that we're on now, obviously it's got a central heating system that's already been up and running for quite a long time. I think it's about 10 years old, this central heating system. So we're going to give it a good clean. It has had a Magna Clean on it for quite a while, as far as I can tell. So it should hopefully be in quite good health. So we're going to give it a quick flush through. So it says on here this will work within the hour, just running through the back of the instructions. You can leave it in the system for up to a week, but we already know this system's running quite well because all the rads are already hot. So we're going to chuck this in for an hour, and then once we've done that, we're going to flush the central heating chemical out with clean water, and then we're going to add and leave in the central heating protector. Now, I believe this will do up to 130 litres or 16 radiators, it says on the back, so pretty standard compared to other manufacturers of heating inhibitors and cleaners, but it comes in quite a small bottle, so yeah, a bit easier to store in the van and not falling off the van rack. And so anyway, what we're going to do is we've got a dosing point here on the Magna Clean, add this cleaner in and get this all up and running. Okay, so we've had the cleaning chemical in there for about an hour and a half, and I'm just going to check in the Magna Clean just to see if that's collected any sludge and debris, any iron oxide that might have shifted with the cleaner. So it's ideal if you've got a filter hooked up to the system because it will capture everything as it's circulating. Now, obviously it's a bit more beneficial if you connect it up to the bigger brother of this, the Magna Cleanse, but you're only really required to put the central heating cleaner in and then just flush it through with clean water. But it kind of gives you a good indication of how well that cleaner's working. So because this was a second-hand system already in use, the magnetic filter was actually clean. There wasn't nothing in it. So by opening this up now, we'll be able to see how well that cleaner's actually broken down and removed any particles. So because that's tight, it's normally a good indication that there's stuff in there. Alright. Okay, cool. So from a magnet that was clean, and then just by adding that filter and the chemical, you can see we're starting to collect quite a lot of crap. So in all honesty, that just looks like a bit of plastic, so cleared that as well. So we'll get this magnet cleaned, get the chemical flush through, and then add the inhibitor. Okay, moving swiftly on to another job. Now, we have been asked to install a shower on the left hand side here. So Bailey has just taken out a radiator. So a floor standing traditional style rad was sitting here, but we've been asked to remove that, install that over here, so between the door and the centre of the bath, or the end of the bath there. Problem being is we've got these timbers that are exposed here on this wall, as this is an old oast house. So we need to build stud work, same width as a tray, take it up to this level here where this like internal window is, and it's going to be those waterproof boards, so that Merlin board type stuff. So I'm not going to lie, it's a bit of a pig. The customer's not actually here, they've disappeared to Japan. And we haven't seen any plans, but the materials aren't here. So all I know is I've got 2 weeks to get it done. So we're making a start today. We just needed to check that the joists are actually deep enough to accommodate a shower waist, which they are luckily, but I need to confirm that the shower waist isn't in the middle, because it's going to hit this massive structural timber there. So anyway, part of the job today really is just to relocate this radiator behind me, so we can get that out of the way, and then try and get a waist to outside. So it's a little bit hard to explain, but because it's an oast house, you've got the diameter of the round part of the building. We think it finishes about here, so we need to run this waist past this point, which is probably underneath this basin, and then poke it through. So I believe this is all getting changed at some point, but for now the customer's in a bit of a rush to get showering because they've got a lot of people coming for a big party. So we just need to probably disconnect the basin while we get the shower waist through, and then hopefully all the equipment's going to turn up. So anyway, we've got this drain down, let's get these pipes all moved. Okay, so we're making a bit of progress now. We've got the hot and colds teed into the original pipework, so we can only actually find it in 15mm in this room, so we're just having to branch onto that for the shower, but it's off of an unvented cylinder, so it should be okay. Just chop the waste through for the shower trap, so that's just running all the way along here, so can't actually bring it through there. As you can see, there's electric cables, the joist is a bit small, etc. Quite a lot going on there. So Bailey has moved the radiator, all the central heating pipe work is now relocated over there, and he's just doing the final connections for the hot and cold. So at the moment we're just elbowing them up out of the floor, and then when we put our new stud plate down, we'll just cut a hole through the stud and bring them up. So at least for today we can get it all capped to make sure it's all live, and then we are pretty much out of the floor area. The joists here are so out of level, it is quite unbelievable, but what we've done is we've used one sheet of ply slightly larger than the shower tray we're going to be installing. That's just down temporarily at the moment, and that will give us a nice base to put our adhesive on to secure the shower tray down with. So regarding the stud wall that we've built, we've just packed a plate off of the joist, so we leveled that plate off at the bottom. We've had to cut round this existing timber, and as you can see we've got a hot and colds coming through there on a full bore ISO. So at the moment we've just left that long, but this stud here, we've got a 800mm shower tray, and we've put this at about 785, just so the waterproof paneling on the waterproof boards we're going to be installing just slightly overhang that. Then we could put a plasterboard reveal on the corner. So Bailey's just pulled these well fancy bends, got that all in one. So this shower's just having a standard bar mixer, 150mm centres, and I don't know if you can see, but this is how far that wall's at level running down the side. So, and then over on this side it's even worse. Quite a lot of room here. Probably get a cat through that. But anyway, we are making good progress on this one. Still waiting for the shower tray to turn up, and once that's here we can get it done. Okay, so we're moving on to a bathroom job we've got on the go now. So Bailey has been here getting the first day of the first fix done. He's done a really good job of getting all the hot and colds in. So we're working alongside a friend of ours who's a chippy, and this is his mother-in-law's place. So we're just getting a bathroom in for them. So pretty simple stuff. So concealed shower going in on the wall. We've got a shower head and a shower arm on this one. Wall hung vanity unit. So basically just put the pipes on the wall ravens there. We're going to get that all clipped and insulated through the joist spaces. So I think one of the biggest headaches we've got on this job is to get the wastes in. Now, we wasn't aware when we come to look what the state of the soil stack would be, but it's actually an old cast one we've got in the corner, and unfortunately we need to cut a hole as low as that ceiling plasterboard in just to pick up the new floor standing shower that's going in. So we have got this old original copper elbow kind of coming out here, but we're not going to try and use that. We're going to try and cut another hole in a bit lower just so it works a little bit better for our shower waste, and then we can bring that through the joists here, pick up our basin, and then straight into the shower tray, which is now going there. So what we're going to be using to try and achieve that is this kind of like cast iron boss, or it's like a multi-material adapter. So the way that works is we drill a 57mm hole, which I've just picked up a new hole saw for here, and then once we've got our hole cut, we then push that in, and then there's a tool which you slide into the face of that, which is this thing here. That kind of expands this bung section here with this rubber O-ring, and then that grips nice and tight onto the cast. So yeah, the biggest problem is trying to get the drill in and get it cut, but we will give it a go, see how we get on. Worst case situation, I have to try and find some sort of adapter for this elbow that's sticking out here, but ideally we want a hole a little bit lower. So yeah, let's see how we get on. Okay, so that's that hole all drilled into the side of that. So just to get that done, I've used one of those Bosch with the power change arbor bits. Now, I always cut that as slow as possible, so you want to get that rotation as slow as you possibly can to get it cutting nicely. If you go too fast, it'll just wear out the teeth on the hole saws. So just to help aid it, I also use this multi-purpose cutting oil. I'll just spray it on that while it's going through, and to be honest, it probably took less than a couple of minutes to get that done, which is great. So there is that little piece there that I've taken out. So I'm about to put this Boss adapter in. So as you can see, it's just made of plastic, it's in black. I've had to cut it slightly just to get around the curvature of the old Boss there. I couldn't get the drill any further away from it, so I need it in that location. Now you've got to be careful with these because they do have a top and a bottom. They do have a very slight fall on them, but I guess really it does depend if your soil stack's actually level or not. So I've got no idea on this one, but obviously we're still going to put it around the right way. So I would advise you to silicone these up as well, or use some sort of grab adhesive. We just chuck the Obi-Wan stuff on here. So I'll just put that around the perimeter. Now that will literally, for a 57mm hole, just push in, stick into location like so, and then to tighten it up, we put in these plastic keys that come with it. So that slides in, and then you want to turn that 3 times, he says. Why is that so loose? Okay, that's not working. Disaster. Okay, so take 2 on that. I've just realised I was spinning it round the wrong way, so I was actually loosening it rather than tightening it up. So push that nice and tight against there. Chuck that back in. And it's anti-clockwise because we're trying to pull it towards us, not like I was just doing. So it says in the information packet a maximum of 3 times, so 3 circulations round. I guess it'll be too tight otherwise. Jesus Christ. Right. You kind of get the idea. I'm going to need to use my other hand. Okay, so that is it now in location. So I have just put a load of sealant around the edge of it just to make sure it's all good. But it does feel pretty secure once you get that nice and tight. So it says in the instructions 3 times only. I was about 2.5 and I couldn't actually do it much more. So it has lifted off very slightly on the bottom, but I think that's just how the rubber's pulled off against it. But make sure you check it all before you obviously put the floor down, and the pipe that goes into it, you can see it's just a compression fitting, so standard waste connection on there. So from that point there, I need to elbow it along here. I need to get my joist distances correct for when I'm drilling through the hole. So I just need to measure this joist, and then we're going to come through here, pick up this base and waste that Bailey's just put in, and then our shower tray waste is over in that corner. Okay, so the waste pipe is all in now. So as you can see from that Boss adapter, I've brought it along within the regulations of the joists, gone straight through the centre, and then along here just picking up this base and waste here, which I appreciate isn't ideal, but it's the best we can do in this situation. And then we've just left that T open there to pick up our shower waste. So we have just screwed down this bit of ply. We've bonded it out of an SBR mix, and we've secured it down with those blue screw type screws, which I really like, easy to see, look well fancy in blue. So this particular builder, he likes to have the board in first, so rather than the board sitting on top of the tray, it actually slides in either end of it. So we've just got ourselves a small bit there just so we get the tray in the right place. So next step is we're going to put the tray down on the floor, stencil out our hole, get that cut, and then we'll mix up some flexible tile adhesive and get it all laid. So Bailey's done the radiator pipework over here, so that's all good to go. And yeah, we are getting there now. Okay, so we've got the board all prepped now, and we're about to lay the shower tray. So the way we like to do this is we prime the board here. We've cut out the hole for the waste, so we normally give ourselves a bit of room on the waste pipe as well, as sometimes you have to jack them up so high the waste pipe actually hits the underside of the board. So we've got that in location there. Now we're not actually going to be securing the trap at this stage because we can access it from below. So what we'll do is we'll just feed the trap through on a bit of waste pipe, and then we'll just secure it in place underneath. Now ideally you want to get some silicone around that, but the washer is sufficient enough. So what we've done is we've mixed up some flexible tile adhesive, the slow set stuff. Now this tray is a bit of a pain because, as you can see, it's got quite a lot of voids on it, so unfortunately we are going to have to pack out this board quite a lot. So a little trick that we do to try and get these trays level is we actually use packers on the board first. So we put our packers in each corner, and we put our levels across just so we know how much we need to pack the floor up by. So we've got them kind of preset here, so once we've got our tile adhesive down, we'll slide these into location, and that just means that the tray can't sit any lower than the packers, which hopefully should then keep it totally level. Okay, so we've got the tray down. Now, we actually back buttered this one, and I recommend you do it in all of your shower tray installation. So it's a bit like when you're laying tiles, you want to make sure you back butter them just to get them adhered correctly. So as you can see, Bailey's just going to feed me this trap, and then I'm literally just going to wind this in here, and the job will be a good one. So that's why we always use ply, or a short piece of ply, so we can actually access it underneath. Right, one-handed, let's go. No chance.